So today I am here to talk about project management terms to know. As a project manager, there are terms that you need to understand. When people are talking, especially I have my people here that are just joining a project management space. These are the project terms that you need to know as a project manager, as a person that is involved in projects.
You got a smile that makes the sun rise. You make it shine. But I can see that you don't realize, and that's what made me fall.
Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, my name is Tsabisa and I do educational and lifestyle content. To all my returning subbies, hello corporate ladies and men. I know I have been MIA, but I'm back. I was on leave. I went home. I took a well-deserved break. I went home to the Eastern Cape, had some fun, had some good time, attended some events. So today I am here to talk about project management terms to know. As a project manager, there are terms that you need to understand. When people are talking, especially I have my people here that are just joining a project management space. Some have just recently been appointed as project managers. Some are still striving to become project managers. Some are project admin and schedulers. So you know what, when the meetings are taking place there at work and then you're like, what are they talking about? So I want to discuss those terms today. So I will be looking down a bit because I have prepared some notes on my laptop. So project management items to know, terms to know. The first one is a project manager. What is a project manager? So in literature, a project manager is the role a person plays to ensure that a project goes smoothly as per the plan, from beginning to an end. He or she is responsible for every step of the project from initiation to completion. That is a project manager assigned for that specific project. Even if you are not a project manager, I know sometimes there are project admins, project schedulers. They'll be assigned sometimes small projects, to run, maybe purchase laptops at work, maybe purchase stationery, and then they call it as like a project that we have to run for that specific financial year. So this is what you do get as a project manager. Let's go to the next one. The next one is deliverables. Deliverables are those things that when we're doing projects, it's something that we want at the end of the project to get. So in literature, deliverables are the products of what you expect to have at the end of your project. What is it that you want to achieve? So those are the things that you want to achieve, and they are called deliverables. We go to project management software. So project management softwares are those softwares that you use to manage your projects. Be it's an MS project, Primavera. I know some people, they use Excel to plan their project. So in literature, project management software is a specific type of software you use to manage a project, which is when you're managing a project, you use a specific software that you will understand and manage your projects effectively. The next one is project timeline. I'm sure you have heard people saying, what are your timelines? When are you planning to finish your project? So you're like, okay, what do they mean? So a project timeline is a project management tool that helps you visualize how pieces of your plan will fit together. So that is your timelines. When are you planning to start your project? When are you planning to finish your project? So then even in meetings, when they ask you, what are your project timelines? Then you are able to inform them, no, my project is planning to start this, and then I'm planning to do this at the certain time, and I'm planning to complete my project at this time. So that is your timelines. We move to dependencies. So dependencies, again, there are projects that have dependencies. So which means certain project cannot start before the one that you are currently doing finishes. So those are called dependencies. Hence, maybe you will be asked to fast track your project, to finish your project on time, because there are projects that are being held back so that your one can finish, and after yours has been completed, then those dependencies, which is other projects, they can be able to commence. So let's check what is the literature saying. It says dependencies are tasks that rely on the completion of other tasks before they can be performed, right? So ke ngoku, dependencies are those things that they depend on certain tasks before the other one can commence. Let's make an example. If, for example, you have to install a pole, you have to dig first before you can install a pole. So the dependency of digging is installing the pole, right? So which means a certain task has to be done before a certain task can be able to take place. So those are the dependencies. They come in tasks and they also come in projects. In projects, then we'll also call them relationships. What are the relationships on this project? So we call them a relationship in terms of dependencies. This project must finish before the other one can commence. Now we move to Gantt chart. Gantt chart came. It's a type of visual project management software. So when you're using your MS project, you will have a Gantt chart. A Gantt chart will stipulate, will show you when is the start of this project, when is the finish of this project, what are the dependencies, what are the predecessors, when is the completion, what is the completion percentage, and what are the resources linked to that specific task of your Gantt chart. So let's go to literature says a Gantt chart is a type of visual project management that displays a project in a form of a timeline, right? It's an easy way to track a project life cycle and estimate end dates of certain project activities. So as you aligned your project activities on your MS project, then they are shown in a Gantt chart, right? Let's move to the next one. The next one is a project budget. A project budget, it's a set amount of budget that has been set aside so that it can be utilized for this specific project. Nothing else but this specific project. So let's go. Literature says a project budget is a set amount of resources you are able to use for a specific project. It is specific, nothing else but the kind of project and the specific project that you have been assigned to. And then the next one is your project plan. So a project plan, how are you planning to execute your project? What plan do you have in place to manage this project? So literature says a project plan is a detailed map of all the elements your team needs to accomplish to reach your project goals. So that's your plan in place to reach your project goals. As it says here, all the elements your team needs to accomplish. So in project most, we don't work in silos, we work as a team. So the team needs to accomplish a certain activities to reach a project goals. The next one is a project objectives. Is those goals that we set. Even in personal life, we have goals that we set. What is it that we want to achieve by the end of this year? So project objectives is those goals that we have in place so that we know by this certain time our project will be completed, will accomplish what we wanted to do. And then literature says a project objective is the goal you set to achieve by the end of a specific project. This is the main reason why a project is happening. Why are we doing project? Why are we doing this project? We set out goals so that we can accomplish the objectives of the project. Now we go to a scope trip. A scope trip, it normally happens a lot of time in projects. A scope trip is those things that we already stipulated what is the scope of a project. Now, along the way, there are things that are being added on your project. There are things that sometimes they'll be like, okay, we identified that this certain project must also include this. Those are the scope script. It's things that we did not plan for. It's things that they were never part of the plan from the beginning. So let's go to literature. Literature says, scope creep is what happens when a project task and deliverables begin to exceed the allocated project scope. It exceeds what was planned initially, so we call it a scope trip. So when they talk about these things in meetings, or we hear about it even when you're studying, a scope trip is something that we did not plan for. It's something that exceeds what the allocated scope was, right? Now we move to a business case. So when we start any project, when a project is initiated, there will be a business case. It's stating the kind of problem that you want to resolve with that specific project. It states like, what is it that we need to achieve out of this project? So that is the business case. When the project is initiated, they'll have a business case stipulating the needs of this project and what is that we want to accomplish. So in literature says, a business case is a type of document that highlights the benefits of the company will gain if they pursue a specific business initiative, which is a project. So it will highlight the benefit that the company will gain to pursue this. So now that we are doing this project, what is it that we are going to benefit? What is it that we are going to resolve, right? So that is a business case, and it's done by a team. For example, that will be your management, be it your program manager or your portfolio management, your directors. They will do that because they understand what is it that they want to solve. So it will start in that level before it comes to you as a project manager. I know some companies, they will include you as a project manager when they are doing the business case, but some, the business case will come ready. Then when are you just getting informed as to this is what we want to do, we are assigning this project to you, then you take it from there when you have to start doing your project documentation using that business case. Now let's go to a project charter. So a project charter is the first document that a project manager will do. Like, this is what we will do when we receive a project. We will do a project charter. A project charter, it will stipulate the scope of the project. From our business case, we already know that what is it that we need to achieve. So we'll have that scope. Then we will stipulate what is the scope of the project. We'll identify the stakeholders that we need to include in this project. We will identify the risks that we foresee might happen on this project, and then we'll also have an estimated budget on that project charter. How much are we estimating for this project? We'll also have, so IRIS register, I did include it. We did include our scope. We did include our budget. Stakeholders we did, right? And then we'll also have our project schedule, which is your project program. How is it that we are planning to do? And like in terms of time frame, how long do we think this project will take place? And a project charter, it's not always detailed. It's because for now, we're not sure yet how the project is going to go about, but this is where we start. And normally, a project charter does not change. It's the document that won't change because it's something that we started with. It will also have that project baseline. So if project baseline, we don't change it. It's a baseline schedule. Then we'll have our updated schedules as the time goes on. So let's check, what does the literature say. Literature says a project charter is a document that highlights your project's key objectives, its scope, and main responsibilities. Project charters are a way for key stakeholders to get a high level overview of the work and what is going to be done before approving the project, right? So before that project is approved, then we know that this is what we have planned to do. So it's either they get approved or they're like, okay, let's wait a bit. We don't think we'll have this amount of money to do this, or we do not have certain resources. So that's what the project charter will do. Now we have a kick-off meeting. Maybe you've heard people talking about, we're going for a kick-off meeting, we're going for a progress meeting, we're going for a team meeting. So there is a kick-off meeting in projects. A kick-off meeting, it's that first project that you will have with all the relevant stakeholders. Now you come together as a team, you plan as to how are we going to execute this project. That is your kickoff meeting. Mostly it will happen at the site where the project will take place. If you're working in substations, it will happen in that specific substations. If you have to extend a building, it will happen on that certain building, where you will have now to also have a site walk down, having to check everything that is in place. Let's check, what is the literature saying? A kickoff meeting is an opportunity for you to gather with all the stakeholders of a specific project to make sure that everyone is aligned on the project plan. Everyone is aligned. Are we going as per this plan? That's where we'll correct each other. No, it won't happen to go this way. How about we do this? That is when as well the other stakeholders will be identified. They'll be like, no, you omitted this certain person. This person is important. We need to include that person for this project. That is our kickoff meeting. We get together and understand how are we going forward with this project. Now we go for a resource allocation. So a resource allocation now is when you decide as to how are you going to allocate resources for this project. Resources, it's different. It can be employees, it can be equipment, it can be the budget. How are you going to distribute your budget? So let's check, what is the literature saying? Literature says a resource allocation is the process of identifying exactly how many resources you can use for any given project. So you identify exactly how many resources you can use for any given project. So now that you have identified, no, I'm gonna need a certain team, I'm gonna need this kind of equipment, that is where now a resource allocation take place. Now we go to the last one, which is our contingency plan. A contingency plan is plan B of anything. In projects, we always have plan B. A contingency plan, we can have it in terms of budget as well, where we will have our contingency budget that we keep aside for in case that we run out of budget. We have that contingency budget that can be released to assist the project to go forward. So let's check. Literature says a contingency plan is a plan set in place in the event that your original plan doesn't go quite right. A contingency plan is a preset plan in project, is a preset plan B in project management. That is your plan B that you have so that you are able to finish your project on time. You don't wait for a budget to be released. No, you have your contingency plan in place, your contingency budget plan in place, so that if push comes to shift, then you are able to get that budget. I hope you have learned something. These are the project terms that you need to know as a project manager, as a person that is involved in projects. I hope you have learned, and I will definitely see you next time. Goodbye for now, and God bless you.